I read this question beforehand, so I've kind of been chewing on it this afternoon, and it reminds me of like I tell this story all the time when people bring this question up because it always comes up. It comes up about the Enneagram. It comes up about yoga and contemplative practices. What do I do? I'm too busy to do this. And there's the story about the two monks. The student comes to the master, and the student says, Master, I am just too busy. There's no way that I can meditate for 30 minutes a day. What do I do? And the master says, Oh, it's simple. Meditate for an hour a day. And that's kind of like, it's a little tongue in cheek when I share it, but it's getting at something that I think is really important, and it's kind of the answer to this question, right? Is that like, I mean, first of all, I'm not going to say that everybody is always in the exact right place to dive into the Enneagram, right? Sometimes it's just legit not a good time. Like, I totally understand it. And especially if you're an assertive type, the times that you think it's not a good time to get into the Enneagram might actually be times where it could be really supportive and really helpful. And it's one of those things where the Enneagram, yoga, contemplative practices, all of these things, they require a certain level of energy and attention, right? But they give back more than they require, especially as an eight when your life is full of chaos and, any assertive type, really. I mean, anyone. We live in a time where anyone can be having a chaotic life, right? Like this is not a type specific thing, it's a human thing. Life is hard, right? We have a lot of demands on our time, on our energy. We have a lot of things we have to do. It looks like the world, I mean, it seems like the world is falling apart everywhere we look. All of these things make it difficult to engage with this kind of work. But if we engage with this kind of work, these things are not like all of the other chunks of time that we are offering to something else. These sorts of things, working with the Enneagram, contemplative practices, doing yoga, studying yoga philosophy, etc. They give back more than they take, more than they require. And if your life is particularly hectic, it's very likely that it is hectic because you are living so unconsciously and you are operating so much out of your type. Type works well for a while, and then it starts to kind of work itself out of a job, right? We all hit a point where our type and our unconscious patterns are not actually getting us what we want. And if we don't do these things, if we don't engage with something like the Enneagram or contemplative practices or therapy or what have you, then it just keeps getting worse. It just keeps getting harder and harder and harder. But if we can carve out even a small amount of our time and energy, then that small amount of time and energy actually starts to create an opening that allows us the opportunity to live in a different way. And that's kind of the pitch, is that this isn't another self-improvement project to put on top of everything else that you're doing. It's actually examining why we're operating the way we're operating, why our life is hectic, why we're feeling these challenges, and then very kindly and very gently offers us another way of relating to our lives. And if we can do that, then things really start to change. And it's not even necessarily that the outer trappings of our lives become less chaotic or less stressful, but we have a different orientation to those things. I took a total nosedive into this work almost 15 years ago, and my life is still hectic. Like, I have two young daughters. I mean, not young, 14 and 11. One's in high school, one's in middle school. They're completely different people right? There's no parenting shortcuts. You have to do what works for one person never works for the other. I'm married and I run my own business. There are so many things going on at any given time. It's crazy. It's absolute insanity. The things that have changed in my life, though, since engaging with this work is I do have more periods of rest, which is great. But when things are hectic and crazy, I can relate differently to them. And it's the things that go crazy. It's not me. I'm not overwhelmed. I have the capacity and the awareness through practice to see things differently and respond to them differently. So that would be my like very long elevator pitch for why you should definitely engage more with the Enneagram when life is hectic.